Welcome back to another Stay Connected podcast. It's your host, Leo Herrera, the Connected Golfer. I'm here with Bryson Nimmer today. Heck of a golfer. He plays professionally now and played at the University of Clemson and just a grinder out there. Absolute stud. So we're going to be learning a ton from him today of his experience in the game and how he's come to the point where he is now, because he's been at it for pretty much his whole life. So Bryson, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Leo. I appreciate it. I'm excited what you're doing and kind of letting people know a little bit more about the golf world. So just excited to get to share with you.
Absolutely, man. I love to get it started with just understanding where you got started with the game of golf. How did it all begin for you?
Yeah, I'm kind of. I'd say like now it seems like people are earlier to start than where it used to be, but I was probably a little later. I started probably when I was like 12, 13, really playing competitively, and my dad got me into it. He was a competitive golfer, played at Clemson as well, so just kind of got me into it. I kind of thought golf was stupid until I was about 12, and then took it up, and I got the bug and couldn't stop playing. So here I am.
I love it. Did you play any sports before golf?
I did, yeah. I played everything else. I played basketball, football, baseball, all the above, and tried to play a little bit of those while playing golf. And finally, about 15, I focused on only golf.
What made you settle into golf and not the other sports?
I think just the individualism of golf, of like you're on your own time. Like, if you want to wake up at 5 a.m. and go start grinding, you can. And if you want to sleep in and do it later in the day, you kind of be on your own schedule and you get as good as you're willing to put the work in. So that was kind of for me. Not to say I didn't like relying on a team, but it's like, if you're on a team and your teammates are slacking, you're not getting better. And with golf, it's like, it's nice because if you're putting in the time and you're focused, you're going to get better.
Definitely. And it really helps growing up playing other sports too, just to kind of gain that hand-eye coordination. I'm sure it helped you a ton, like as you were getting into golf, just being an athlete. Did that help?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I think the baseball side of it helped a lot, that same rotary motion and all that kind of stuff. So I think that helped. I think all aspects of sports helps because it teaches you kind of how to use your body and, the way to kind of manipulate it to fit what you're trying to do. So I think I got a lot from that.
100%. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about your junior golf journey, how you got into Clemson, because that's a top-notch school. I'm sure you had a really good junior golf career. Like, can you share with me a little bit about how that process went?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy for me. So I used to be a big kid. Like when I was 13, 14 years old, I weighed like 220. I was only 5'6". Like I was a stocky dude. And
Wow.
I had this golf coach that he sat me down in his office one day, and we were trying to kind of talk about it, and he started referring it to cars, and he was like, "You like cars?" I was like, "Yeah, of course I like cars." He's like, "Do you know the difference between an engine and a car? Between like a V4, V6, V8?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, you're a V4 right now." And he's like, "In order to play at the high collegiate level, you need to be a V8." And so I guess it just like stuck all of a sudden and hit me hard. And I lost like 60 pounds in about 6 months, got in really good
Wow.
shape, and golf game just completely came along with it.
Dude, that takes a lot of grit. I mean, to be able to like just make that shift. You mentioned that little thing just kind of shifted your mindset. Was there anything else there that really got you to feel like, wow, like now I really want to be at that level. Now I'm going to go do this.
Yeah. I think it was just one of those kind of inner self things where it's like, that was my goal and my dream, and I wasn't going to let that be the reason that I didn't make it happen. So I think it's hard to lose weight like that, but when you have a goal at the end and kind of a runway that you're working towards, I feel like that helped a lot and made it easy for me.
I love it, man. Whenever you got a vision, you can definitely fulfill it if you stay connected to
Stay
it.
connected. That's right.
Yeah. So, what drew you to Clemson versus any other school? Like, what was it about Clemson that really drew your attention?
I grew up a Clemson fan, so like for me, man, that was like the epitome of my goals was, from a young kid, whether it was baseball, football, golf, I wanted to be there as an athlete. And, funny enough, like, I didn't start playing my best golf until I was maybe a junior or senior in high school. So, that's kind of tough because they start recruiting freshman, sophomore year, and
Yeah.
scholarships start going. So, it made it tough. I visited some other schools and really didn't think Clemson was going to happen. And then I played really good there towards the end of my senior year, and they were like, "All right, we found a spot. You can be on the team." I was like, "All right, perfect."
That's amazing, man. To be able to fulfill your dream like that, it must have felt so cool. And like, I'm wondering because I mean, I played at UCF, like a
Yeah.
Division I program. It's at another level. It really prepares you. How did playing college golf at such a high level shape your game and your mindset for professional golf?
I mean, it was a huge help. I mean, you know how it is. High level college golf is pretty stressful. Like, it's intense, and it's more so like I think the values you learn in college, kind of like the organized schedule, organized practices, drills, all that kind of stuff. Like having a schedule from the time you wake up until 8 o'clock at night when you get your homework done. So it's like it gave me some structure that I think I didn't have, and it's huge in pro golf because you kind of have to segue that into like being able to do it on your own and not having a coach there to tell you to do it.
Definitely, yeah. You got to have that structure. I mean,
Yeah,
especially being an individual sport, I feel like that's what college really helped me with the most as well. Just kind of understanding what it takes to make it to that level and what you really got to do.
yeah.
Um, so, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in college as you were making, your transition into from junior golf to college golf and just getting adjusted?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest one for me was just like the workload, just like kind of handling so many different things at once. You got your school, you got traveling, you got working out, you got the actual tournaments and the golf side of it. So, kind of just finding like a happy balance, I think, that first year of trying to be like, okay, these are my priorities, these are the things that are most important. And then also, I think it is important to have like a little bit of a social life outside of it. So, kind of trying to find a friend group that you can let go of everything going on and just kind of relax and get your mind off of it.
Definitely. Yeah. Was there ever a moment in college where you felt like, wow, like this really propelled my confidence level to another level and now I really feel like I'm prepared for professional golf?
Yeah, I think I always knew that I had the game to play professionally. I just thought, when I got to school, I wasn't the strongest guy. I didn't hit it super far. I had some weak points in my golf game, and I think it was probably like my junior year. Uh, Really, I mean, the biggest boost for me was my freshman year. I didn't get into the lineup the entire first semester. Finally got a chance the second semester and rattled off some top tens to stay in the lineup. And then at ACCs, had like my best tournament of my year. Finished fourth. We won ACCs by like 20 shots, and like that
Wow.
was a big. I looking back, it's like if it hadn't happened that way that first year, I don't know if I would have been as confident the rest of my college career. But like getting off to a start like that and having a ring after your first year is pretty cool.
100%, man. And I know the transition into, like junior golf to college golf, being a freshman in college, it's not easy. I experienced it. It's definitely a huge transition. What is a piece of advice you would have for anyone that's making that transition now to like just feel comfortable, in their shoes?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, just realize that you're where you are because you did something special already and that you have it in you. Because, like, you don't get to a big D1 program or even a D2 school unless you're pretty dang good at golf. So, I mean, I think just kind of that you got to find an inner confidence in the fact that you've already done something really cool to get there and it's already in you, and just work your butt off. And if you outwork everybody else that's there in the same situation as you, it's going to work out and you're going to have success.
Love that. 100%.
Yeah.
So now let's transition a little bit over to your Korn Ferry days. So you were able to get on the Korn Ferry Tour, played a full year. What was it like competing on the Korn Ferry Tour for that full year?
It was awesome. So I had conditional status last year and got to play a fair amount, and then this year I got to play almost the whole season. Missed like 2 events, but it's just a different atmosphere, man. It's like it's what we all dream of. Like you're out there, there's fans, there's grandstands, you have a like schedule, you have people out there to help you, club companies, all that kind of stuff, and it's like it's just I think I had to in the middle of the season I got off to a rough start, but the middle of the season I had to just slow down and be like, look, it's really special to be out here and like just embrace it. Don't let it get to you and just like accept the fact that like you are where you need to be. Just go play golf.
Yeah, I like that. That was kind of leading into my next question, which is like how you like mentally and physically prepared for the tour. Cause I mean, you're
Yep.
not just playing one tournament now, like you're playing a whole season. How do you
Yep.
prepare for that? Like what are some of the things that you got to do during the off season to make sure you're connected throughout the season?
Yeah, it's hard to be connected throughout a whole season on Korn Ferry. I'll admit to that, but I'd say just like I learned a lot this year from the faults that I had and things that I can use going forward that I need to do a better job of. But a lot of it's just like having a routine that you stick to on a weekly basis. We show up, usually fly in on a Monday. You either play, don't play. Tuesday, you have a practice round. Wednesday, you have a pro am, and then the tournament starts. And it's like every guy is a little bit different and needs something different to prepare, kind of like a pregame. And, for me, it was, I play the front nine on Monday, I play the back nine on Tuesday, and then do some like swing work stuff on Wednesday, and then I'm ready to go. But it took a while for me to figure out what recipe kind of worked the best.
Yeah. And I'm sure you were around, the really good players, the guys who ended up making it to the next level.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you found in common with those guys that maybe the other guys just didn't have?
I think just like really like a goal end in sight, like you can't let one week bog you down. And I think a lot of times out there, the people at home don't realize it watching on TV, but one week can really determine a season. Middle of the season, when you don't think it matters, a guy goes out and shoots 80, and like he might be playing great golf, but he had one bad day, and all of a sudden it gets in his head, and season's over because he
Yeah.
starts chasing things that you shouldn't be chasing, switching clubs and putters, and I think that is a big thing you have to recognize. And the guys that every guy that I saw this year that got their card, a couple of my really good friends that I traveled with a lot are going to get their card, and like they're just consistent. Like, yeah, they'll mess around with a different club or something every once in a while, but like when it's game time and they need to go play, they've got their clubs in their bag that they trust and they're locked in. And like at the end of the day, those are the guys that are successful. They know what it takes to play their best.
Yeah. Definitely. It's so simple. I mean,
Yeah.
we try to overcomplicate it, but really it's like you got to go with the reliable because it's such a mental sport. Like you said, you just, get into this funk after one bad day and it just ruins the whole season.
Yeah.
Um, so I want to talk about, because we got the peaks, we got the valleys, some of the setbacks. I mean, you played the whole Korn Ferry Tour. Before we get into that part, can you
Yep.
explain just to the audience so they have context, like how does it work to maintain your tour card on the Korn Ferry Tour?
Yeah, so Korn Ferry, it's changed a lot. The last 5 years, really, the whole time that I've been a pro, every year it seems like it changes. I think they're kind of trying to find that sweet spot of what works. But right now, the way it stands is the top 30 from the Korn Ferry Tour, you get your PGA Tour card. Top 75, you retain your card on the Korn Ferry Tour. 75 to 100, you get conditional status and you get into second stage of Q school. And then anybody after that is you go back to first stage basically. So it's tough, and you got guys. I mean, we saw it a lot this year with the way the PGA Tour is working. Is you have a lot of PGA Tour guys that aren't getting into the PGA Tour events, so they're coming down to play Korn Ferry events whenever they need to, and it really makes it hard if you're a Korn Ferry guy because it's like I might have good enough status that I need to be in that tournament, but if there's a bunch of guys coming down from the PGA Tour, you don't get in. So it
Yeah.
makes it tough.
Yeah, it seems like it's so saturated. Everyone's going, for that carrot at the end of the stick, and there's a lot of just good talent out there.
Oh, yeah.
So you played the season. You unfortunately ended up losing the status on the Korn Ferry Tour. How
Yeah.
did you process that setback, and like what steps are you taking to make your way back now onto the tour?
Yeah, I mean it was a tough season. I really think I kind of found my stuff there at the end of the year and started to put some good stuff together. I kind of had fallen out of the priority list to get into those tournaments at the end, and finally got into one. Monday qualified into Chicago, uh, finished 11th and reshuffled in, and then played great the rest of the year. Just missed out on getting to the tour championship, but I mean I think I'm aware of the fact that like there were swing issues and things I had early in the season that I was just kind of trying to put a band-aid on, and I started working on some new stuff, kind of found some things that work, and I think my game right now is as good as it's been as a pro, and I think it really is a good mindset for me going forward into trying to get my card back.
That's awesome, man. And it really seems like you got the game to play at that highest level on the PGA Tour, and it's just a matter of time. I'm curious to know, like, what have you learned, through this adversity, this little hump in the road, uh, throughout this process about yourself that you might not have learned if you didn't go through this?
I think just, I found a form of like patience and calmness that I didn't know I had. It's like you never at the beginning of the season think of the negative. You always think of, oh, I'm going to go get my tour card and it's going to be great and everything's going to be perfect. But, you do kind of amaze yourself when things don't go well, like being able to handle them and move forward and, not get down on yourself. And I was proud of that this year. I think I never got to a point where I was doubting myself. Um, and I think that's really important because unfortunately with pro golf, things are going to go wrong. Like the best players in the world, it goes wrong 6, 7 months sometimes where they can't figure out what's going on. And then all of a sudden it clicks and they're the best player in the world again. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
think anybody that's trying to do it, trying to play professional golf out there, I mean, you just have to trust in yourself and just know that if you stay patient and you do the right things, it'll happen.
Definitely. Pro golf, there's so much uncertainty. But I'm sure, I mean, for a person like you at your level, you got to be doing stuff off the course to harness the power of your mind to, really create your reality. Are there any practices that you use to connect,
Yeah.
to what you're trying to do out there?
Yeah, I started this year actually for the first time working. We did it in college, but this year I started working with a sports psychologist. He's a great guy. He works with a lot of college football teams and stuff like that. And he's just really great about like, I think the most important thing is like you can't let stuff just like stay in your mind and not talk about it. So like just having somebody to kind of throw things at and get responses is huge. I mean, I think you might not realize sometimes, like, I don't know your golf game. We've never played together, but, say you're struggling with your putting or your chipping or whatever, you know, you can over and over tell yourself, like, I'm a great putter. I'm a great putter. I'm a great putter. But that deep, inner thought still there, like, okay, I'm struggling with my putting.
Yeah.
And just having somebody to kind of talk it out with, you end up like kind of getting that out of your mind and then working on like rebuilding. I'm really good at that.
Yeah. That's so true. I mean, I actually just recently got into a relationship, and I realized how that helped me really express myself and things I didn't even know like I had inside me. I was like, wow, like just talking to someone, it comes out.
Yeah,
And it's so powerful to have that communication because
for
we
sure.
really don't know what we keep inside until we really express it. And we're like, wow, that was in there the whole time. I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And it's
Especially
crazy how that
guys.
affects your game.
I
Yeah.
feel like guys, dude, we just bottle everything. We're like, oh, it's fine, move along. But I mean, you do have to be aware of it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what does a typical training day look like for you, both like on and off the course? I'm guessing you're hitting the gym, you're practicing. Can you walk me through like ideal like day in the life?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of differs. I've worked with a trainer for a long time. Obviously, got the sports psych now, but just kind of like it's an in season, off season kind of deal. When you're in season, obviously you're traveling, your body's taking a toll. You're on planes all the time, in cars, you're sitting. Like your body can't really handle a full workload. So in season, it's a lot less, harsh on the body. Like we're doing a lot more like stretching, cardio, like trying to really like maintain more than like build muscle. But then off season, you go a little harder. Like you know, I'm really looking forward. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I like lifting and all that. So I'm excited about off season and the fact that like I get to start lifting weights again and like trying to put on muscle and hit the ball farther and all that. So for me, like an ideal day off season, I'm up. I go to the gym. My wife's great. She loves to work out, so we'll go together. Probably an hour, hour and a half. Get back, have some breakfast. I'll go to the course. Usually hit balls, chip putt. That takes about probably 45 minutes on the range, 30 minutes putting, 30 minutes chipping. Do some drills, mostly with putting. And then I'll go out on the course. Usually, I try to go out almost every day. I like being on the course more than anything. And then just for a good routine at night of just kind of like unwinding, trying to kind of I like to write stuff down, whatever I did during the day, that kind of stuff, just so that I feel like I'm a very forgetful person. So if I had some big like breakthrough where I figured out like, okay, this is what I'm working on right now. If I don't write it down, 2 days later I'm like, what was I working on? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too.
That's awesome. Three things stood out there when you mentioned kind of that rundown. Number one, that you love spending time on the course, which is something a lot of amateur golfers like when they think of practice, they're like, okay, we just got to be on the range or hitting balls like putting or whatever. But like the importance of going out to the course and actually just hitting shots is crucial, really, to
Yeah.
get your game to that next level. Also, you mentioned writing. I mean, you said you're a forgetful person. Really, we all are. I mean,
Yeah.
if we don't
Exactly.
write things down, we're going to forget it. And just the act of writing it just gets you to integrate that information.
For
Love
sure.
journaling. I think it's a super powerful practice.
Yes.
And the last thing you mentioned, your wife, like how much has a relationship like that benefited you in the journey that you're taking as a professional golfer? It's such a tough path. Having someone by your side, to help you. How has that helped you?
It's been amazing for me. I mean, she's such a supportive person. Like, no matter what. I mean, it's funny because she's not a big golfer and she doesn't know golf that well. So, like, I always joke with her because, like, after a round, whether I shoot 65 or 75, she's going to call me and be like, I'm so proud of you. Like, it's so good. And internally, after a bad day, I might be like, that was not good. But just, I think, having that, like, it's consistency. It's never worrying about, like, oh, she's going to be upset because I didn't play good, or I'm going to be upset and not handle it. But just having like consistency with a relationship's important. And I think it can go both ways. I've seen guys have relationships where it wasn't helpful and, it put more pressure on their golf game. But I think having a healthy, like, solid relationship with somebody is huge.
Definitely, man. I love that. It's almost better that she doesn't know much about golf because it just
Yeah,
keeps you, you know, distracted from that. Uh,
exactly.
so, what are some of the goals that you have for this coming year, and how do you set your goals going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I I've worked with the sports psychologist I have now. He was actually our sports psychologist in college, and they're all really big on writing goals down at the beginning of the year. That practice, same thing. Write it down so you can see it and your mind can see it. And I think just like I was always bad about having like outcome goals as far as like, finishes in tournaments or winning a tournament or, getting my PGA Tour card, that kind of stuff. And he's like, he's made me understand more like you need to have more like day to day goals as far as like trying to do the things on a daily basis that are going to make you play your best. And then anything else is just going to happen because of that. And that's really helped me because, like, it makes sense. If you're doing the right things that you're supposed to be doing, you're going to play better. And if you play better, you're going to achieve the goals you have in the first place that are outcome goals.
100%. I've realized process goals has really helped me as well. Like just
Yeah.
understanding what you got to do. Because at the end of the day, like things are just going to happen the way
Yeah.
they're happening. Like you can hope that, this is the tournament that's going to get you to where you want to get to, or, this is the year or whatever. But,
Yeah.
In reality, like at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and do it. And if you do
Exactly.
it, like you'll reap the benefits in the most unpredictable ways that you'll imagine. Like it's just
Yeah.
not going to happen the way you think it will.
No.
Uh,
I mean, look at all the guys on the PGA Tour. Like, there's so many avenues of ways they got there. And, like, we all want to see it plain and simple of like get my Korn Ferry card, finish top 30, get on the PGA Tour, keep my card, win on tour. But it just doesn't happen that way.
yeah,
Guys Monday into tournaments and get conditional. Guys win a tournament out of nowhere, get a start. Like you just never know what's going to happen.
yeah, definitely. So Bryson, as we're wrapping up this podcast today, I know there's a lot of junior golfers that could be watching this right now. If you could give one piece of advice to a young golfer making his way up to playing, professional golf one day, what would it be?
I'd say just work hard. I mean, nothing you ever do. I know it's cliche, but there's nothing that beats working hard. I mean, and identifying the things you need to work on and putting the time into them. I think
Definitely.
that's gold. That's everything.
There's no way around it. You
There's
gotta
nothing.
stay connected to the process and just let it happen.
Yeah, and exactly. Stay connected to what you're doing. Don't deviate with one person telling you one thing or another. Stay with what you trust and what you do.
My man, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I
Of course.
appreciate it. This has been pretty good. We got a lot of nuggets from you, and we're wishing you all the best luck going into this next season for the Korn Ferry. And you're making your way back up to the tour. You got it, man. I mean, you got the mindset. You got what it takes. Just stay connected. Keep doing it.
Thank you, Leo. I appreciate you having me. That was a lot of fun talking.
Appreciate you, bro. Stay connected, guys.
Stay connected.